She was just doing her job organizing books in a quiet library until the whispers began. At first, nobody noticed. Then the locals reported strange noises, shadows moving where there should be none. And one night, the librarian simply vanished. Tonight, we uncover the chilling true story of the library where shadows linger. The library had been a cornerstone of the town for decades, a place of knowledge, quiet, and routine. By day, it was filled with the gentle rustle of turning pages and the soft hum of concentration. But after dusk, something changed. As the sun dipped below the horizon and the street lights flickered on, a different atmosphere would settle over the old building. Patrons and the few remaining staff members began noticing strange sounds echoing through the stacks, faint murmurs that seemed to come from nowhere, pages flipping by themselves in empty aisles, and fleeting, indistinct shadows at the very edge of their vision. They were the kind of things you'd quickly dismiss, your mind playing tricks on you in the low light. But the incidents grew more frequent, more noticeable, and a sense of unease began to creep into the heart of the community's favorite safe haven. It all started as isolated incidents easily explained away. A late-night studier would claim to hear soft whispers, as if someone was reading over their shoulder, only to turn and find no one there. A librarian shelving books would hear a heavy tone thud to the floor in the next aisle over, but upon inspection find every book perfectly in place. Security cameras, reviewed for other reasons, would occasionally show fleeting, distorted shadows in the periphery, impossible to identify and dismissed as glitches or light tricks. The local police department received a few odd calls, but with no evidence of a crime, they were logged and forgotten. No one connected these strange, disparate events, not until the librarian disappeared. Then, suddenly, every whispered story, every strange feeling, and every dismissed shadow took on a sinister new meaning. The small, unsettling pieces began to form a terrifying puzzle. On the evening of her disappearance, the librarian, a woman known for her meticulous nature and dedication, was last seen shelving books in the fiction section. It was a routine task she'd done 1,000 times before. The next morning, the opening staff found the library eerily silent. Her desk was untouched, a half-finished cup of tea still sitting there, her purse and keys left right where she always put them. There was absolutely no sign of a struggle, nothing out of place except for her absence. Her car was still in the parking lot. It was as if she had simply dissolved into thin air. As news of her disappearance spread, locals began sharing their own unsettling stories. Several people living near the library reported hearing low, guttural whispers echoing from the building late that night, strange, raspy sounds that no one could explain, sounds that made the hair on their arms stand up. Authorities launched a full-scale investigation, combing through every inch of the library and the surrounding areas. They were met with a baffling lack of evidence. The security footage from that night was reviewed frame by frame. It captured strange, elongated shadows moving silently between the aisles, shapes that defied the logic of light and perspective. Yet the librarian was never seen leaving the building. Interviews with patrons and staff painted an even more disturbing picture. Many described a persistent, unnerving feeling of being watched, especially in the older, less visited sections of the library. They spoke of sudden, inexplicable cold drafts in windowless rooms and, most disturbingly, of whispering voices that seemed to respond when they spoke, murmuring unintelligible words just on the edge of hearing. Despite the mounting paranormal accounts, no physical evidence was ever found, no forced entry, no signs of a scuffle, and no trace of the librarian outside the building's walls. She had walked in for her shift and had never walked out. With the official investigation stalled, speculation ran rampant throughout the town. The theories were as varied as they were chilling. Some locals, especially the older generation who grew up with town folklore, believe the library is haunted, built on land with a dark past. They say it's a place where shadows linger, sentient entities that feed on the quiet and solitude, and perhaps on those who stay too long after dark. Others, seeking a more rational explanation, theorize that a stalker or an obsessive, unhinged visitor was responsible, someone who knew the library's layout intimately and managed to abduct her without leaving a single trace. Online, the case became a small sensation. Reddit threads on subreddits like UnresolvedMysteries are filled with chilling first-hand accounts from former patrons, detailing their own encounters with the whispers and shadows in the library. But despite all the theories and online sleuthing, the librarian's fate remains utterly and completely unknown. To this day, the mystery hangs over the town like a perpetual fog. Many locals, once avid readers, now avoid the library after dark, preferring the well-lit, busy daytime hours. The staff turnover is high. New librarians report the same unsettling occurrences: the feeling of being watched, the cold spots, the books that fall for no reason. Shadows are still reported moving in the peripheral vision of those brave enough to walk the stacks alone, and faint whispers still seem to echo through the silence when you least expect it. One question remains, haunting the community and everyone who hears this story. Where did the librarian go? Was it a tragic case of foul play executed by a phantom-like criminal? Or was it something far darker, something that defies explanation? The library where shadows linger holds its secrets close, a chilling mystery that refuses to be solved. If you want more chilling stories inspired by true events, subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next investigation. And tell us in the comments, would you dare stay in this library after dark?